This evening we have come to this closing service of our church's 7th anniversary. You have chosen a theme, and we have not dealt with it this week. The 6th chapter of the book of Genesis. I'm just going to read 12 through 14. We have these words. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Rooms shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch.
All right.
The Lord looked upon the earth. The Lord looked upon the earth. This is the earth that he had created. This is the earth that he made. This is the earth that he had already looked at and said, it is good. Already looked at it before. This wasn't the first time the Lord looked at the earth. For at the beginning, when he did all of his creative activity, he looked at everything that he had made and said it's good. Well then, here we have the Lord looking at the earth and finding it not so good. Something must have happened since the first chapter of Genesis. That he looked at it and said it was good, and then looked at it again and said the earth was full of violence. Every imagination of man's mind was evil. It was no good anymore. The earth was no good. Well, now, I don't know what happened that the earth was no good. Because after all, I don't think that the earth did anything that would cause it to not be good in the sight of God. I don't see anything corrupt about the earth. But you see, when God gave man dominion over the earth, man then became the one responsible for the earth. And if man is good, then the earth is good. But if man is corrupt, then the earth is corrupt. God cursed the ground not because the ground had done anything. No, ground hadn't done anything. Cursed the ground for man's sake, because of the evil that is in the hearts, that is to say, the minds of people. The only evil anywhere in the earth is in us. I say the only evil anywhere is in us. Ain't no evil anywhere else in the world. Huh? Amen. It ain't no evil cats. There's no evil dogs, cows, chickens. I know sometimes we have some around us we think are evil. Call it easy. Oh, that's a mean one there. But no. It's not that. What it is man. Man is the most the Lord said everything he does now is evil. All of his thoughts have become evil. And the Lord said this situation needs to be dealt with. Well, there was no boy out there by the name of Noah. And he, out of all those people, that whole society, there was just one fellow who believed in God. A whole lot of us think, a lot of folk don't believe in it. That's right. There was just one that believed in God. And since he did have just this one man that believed in God, the Lord gave him an assignment. He called him to preach. Sometimes you wonder if the God loves you or he hates you when he gives you certain assignments. He called him to preach. That wasn't the most complimentary thing that God could have done. Called him to preach. Now, wait a minute. He didn't just call him to preach. He called him to preach in a society where nobody wanted to hear preaching. Nobody wanted to hear preaching. Here this man out here preaching. Nobody wanted to hear preaching. Oh, my God. Even his own family didn't go to church. He's out there preaching. And that's not the worst part of it. Not only did he call him to preach, not only did he send him to people that didn't want to hear preaching, but he let him preach 120 years. Some of us talking about, I've been on this field for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 120 years. Huh? He didn't even get a church organized in 120 years. Huh? We talking about how we organized 106 members in this church. This man didn't get anybody in 120 years. He didn't get anybody into the church. 120 years. Still preaching. Little children would come home, and their great-grandfolk would be sitting there. The little boy would come in and says, man down there on the corner preaching, and he said, we need to do something because it's going to be a terrible thing to happen. And this old man sitting there with his beard, sitting on his beard, said, was his name Noah? Yeah, that's him. He said, so he's doing that when I was a little boy. I said, hey, don't pay any attention to that. This fellow was doing that when I was a boy. This is something he's been doing a long time. You don't have to, don't get upset. Don't let that disturb you because that old man been doing that so long until generations have come and gone. He's still down there doing that. And then he had something in his sermon that really turned people off because They didn't know what he was talking about. Amen, lights. They didn't know what he was talking about. The man came and said it was going to rain to a group of folk that had never seen rain. It had never rained. They were around talking about it was going to, Noah talking about it was going to rain and all that, and folks said, rain? And what is rain? You know, what is this? Is this something that we need to be disturbed about, or what is it? Rain may be good, whatever it is. Anything we can bottle and put a cap on it is good. We don't have no rain. It won't be raining. We don't care about that. Let's see how it tastes. That's all we care about. Yeah, it's going to rain. And the Lord said to Noah, said, now you keep on telling them that it's going to rain. And finally, when the rain didn't come. See, this is the tragedy of being in the service of the Lord. He doesn't have a timetable that makes any sense to us. You understand? If the Lord tell me to tell you it's going to rain, I'm kind of looking out for it to rain pretty soon. But here I'm walking around here over 100 years and it hasn't rained, and the Lord's still telling me to tell other folks it's going to rain. I said, well, Lord, it hasn't rained yet. You know, the Lord said, no, go ahead. And then the Lord said, well, I'm going to tell you what to do. I'll tell you how you can do, and then people will understand that you really mean business when you say it's going to rain. Whenever you're dealing with God, you have to have what is called faith. In other words, as we say in the Sunday school lesson this morning, you have to believe God. You have to believe Him. God will not deal with anybody that doesn't believe Him. Then I know you got to believe this thing. And I tell you how you can demonstrate that you believe what I'm telling you to tell the people. Noah said, well, what is that, Lord? He said, build an ark. And Noah said, Lord, I'm willing to do anything you tell me to do. You God, and I'm your servant, but would you please tell me one thing? The Lord said, what did he say? What's an ark? I don't mind building one. That's why you have all these details in there about just how to build it, how long it is, because Noah didn't have the slightest idea what an ark was. Noah didn't have no idea what an ark was. The Lord said, build it out, go for wood, and start giving them the dimensions and all of that. And Noah said, well, let me see, I'll try it. Go for wood ain't too easy to find in the Tigris-Euphrates Valley. But I'll find some. Might have to go up the river a piece to get some, but I'll find some. And I'll start building. See? Well, everybody knows the place to build a ship is called a shipyard. They're trying to close a big one down in Philadelphia now. That's where you build ships, a shipyard. And the shipyard should sit on the water. Because when you get ready to launch the ship, you launch it out into the water. But it seems to me that Noah didn't have a shipyard. He didn't have nowhere to build a ship. I just talking about building a ship. So I presume he built it in his yard or somewhere. But anyway, he started to build his ship. And folk were passing by and said, what's he doing? He said, well, he looked like he's building a boat. He said, a boat? Man, what are you going to do with a boat with no water? This man's kind of... I think this man's kind of mixed up. Somebody said, I think old man Noah's kind of mixed up. Getting senile or something. And somebody said he's a preacher, ain't he? You know. Y'all know a little bit about preachers, don't you? We're notorious nuts in the society. You say he's a preacher? He's building that ship out here in the middle, and he's building, and when he got it built up and everything, and did it like the Lord told him to build it. And then he did the craziest thing anybody ever heard of. He started bringing in snakes, lions, all kind of livestock, and putting it on the boat. Had them coming in 2 by 2, going on the boat. And folks said, wait a minute here. Now this thing was kind of funny when this boy was just building this thing. But now let's understand something. Some of them snakes gonna bite him. Some of them lions or somebody gonna eat him up out there. See, the Lord has you do things sometimes that people don't understand. And the folk were just looking at him and said, this guy's the craziest guy. You know. Of course, you know, when he was building the boat, I forgot to tell you that. When Noah was busy building the boat, some people quit their job, just go there and sit and look at him. You ever hear of a sidewalk superintendent? Quit his job and get his brown bag and go out there and sit and look at Noah build that ark. Some of them offer suggestions. Noah, maybe you ought to do this while you do it. You know, all this kind of thing. But Noah went on with the building of the ark. All right. And then when he got it built, he went out and started bringing in the animals that the Lord told him to put into the ark. Folk were walking around looking at him and making fun of him. Everybody makes fun of the person who's trying to do the Lord's work, because the Lord has us do it in such ways that other folk think we're crazy. But as he kept on building that thing, got it completed, brought these things on there. Anybody ought to have sense enough. You don't bring lions and lambs, because lions eat lambs. He brought lions and lambs. He brought snakes. He brought all kind of different animals that were natural enemies one to another, and put them on that ark. And when he got them all on there, Noah began to look around in the community, and perhaps told some of the folk, you need to be on the ark. You understand that something is going to happen here that you need to be protected from. It's going to rain. They still didn't know what rain was, so they still ignored what Noah was saying. But one day, drops began to fall from the sky. One day, I see rain falling. One day, the Tigris River began to rise. One day, trouble began to come in the neighborhood. Yeah, Lord. Folk were standing around in the rain because they didn't know what it was. But one thing they knew, that it's all right. It's all right when rain comes from the upside. But it's a bad thing when it comes from the bottom. Yeah, Lord. They call that a flood. It's talking about flood all over the city. Flood up and down the valley. Flood. Cause the person gulf to rise. Flood. Cause the city to close its doors. Flood. But I imagine about the last thing that closed was the local bar. You could see them standing in the water at the bar. You know, they just standing there till the flood kept on rising. And after a while, the flood came, and somebody said, maybe that boat is a good idea. Came down, yeah, Noah, yeah, Noah. Yeah! Open the door. We want to come in. Let us in, Noah. We want to get in out of the rain. We want to get in out of the flood. But the Lord said unto Noah, you give me the key. You see, I know you. God, all preachers are tender-hearted. I know you. You will let him in, but you give me the key, and nobody will get in. So Noah gave the key up and looked out the window, and somebody said, let us in. He said, I can't. You see, the Lord has the key. Good God Almighty, what I love best about the Lord is that he has the key. I don't care what the situation is. He has the key. I don't care what the circumstances are. He has the key. Yeah, Lord, stay in the ark and don't let anybody in. Stay in the ark and don't let anybody go out. Stay there. You'll be all right. Thank you, Lord, for the ark you gave. But I want to close this evening by letting you know that the ark Noah built was not the real ark. Yeah! The ark he built was not the real ark. There's another ark down the road. It is called the old ship of Zion. It is called, yeah, Lord. Yeah, King Jesus is the captain. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord. It has sailed many waters. Yeah, Lord. There is no danger in the water. Yeah, Lord. Yeah. Come on in out of the world. Come on in out of the flood. Come on in out of the rain. Come on in. Come on in out of the storm. Come on in. Yeah. Come on in. Yeah. Yeah. It has landed many a thousand. Yeah, Lord. I heard somebody say the other day, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the ark of the Lord. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord. Yeah, Lord. He's able. There's a real ark. It'll take you across the Jordan. It'll land you safely on Canaan's side. There is an ark that you need to be on that will make you safe as you sail through life. Storms may rage, floods may rise. Yeah, Lord, rain may fall, but the ark of the Lord, ship of Zion, is a safe vessel. No leaks in it, no problems with it. Let the storm rage, let the rain fall, let the wind blow, let the billow roll. Yeah, he's able. The invitations extend.